I don't. I guess part of it is just kind of developing a shell of of egotism.
Okay.
Saying, I'm going to present myself to strangers a certain way, and until I realize that they're on my same wavelength, then I can put down the guard, and I can be more intimate with them as far as, really what I'm all about. But
regardless of tags and
nationalities
good,
and so forth.
Good.
But
I tend to be that way myself.
But yeah, like with Americans or with Turks, oftentimes I'll assume kind of a happy-go-lucky, like, oh, we're learning and we're having fun kind of environment. Yeah. Okay, just fun, having fun.
Right.
And then I will actually buy into that. Like, it's not an act so much as it's almost like a stylized persona.
Yeah, it's
still me. It's still me, but I am stylizing a little bit because it's entertaining to me.
Sure.
As well as to others.
Sure, right.
If it wasn't entertaining to me, I wouldn't do it. It'd be too much effort.
Right.
I enjoy.
Wouldn't be worth it.
I enjoy entertaining others.
Good.
And entertaining myself.
Yeah, and you are funny. Yes.
Right.
So, and enjoyable in every sense. Yes.
It's enjoyable. It's a fun time. But I use that tool to be able to go anywhere.
Good.
And kind of interact and have fun and learn or whatever. But it's a tool.
So you
I think someone who maybe doesn't have that or would feel maybe a little more tension in having to adapt.
Right. So what you're saying is, or what you're posing anyway, perhaps, is that without the shell, without the certainty of ego, without the sense of self that is itself, regardless of the tags that might actually be on, or the ones that are applied by others, if you don't have that, you might be forced to make sense of all the tags. Without the shell, they might actually be on your skin, which means you have to contend with them.
Yeah.
Without those, you don't have to abide by them at all, other than the fact, of course, that you come from somewhere. Yeah. And as such, probably have a skin color, an eye color, a hair color, among other things. And then you just kind of, as you said, bring down the shell as necessary per person. Mm-hmm. So that by the time you do, perhaps the tags are more novelty than anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they remain attached to the shell at all times, is the big thing.
I found that when you're speaking the other person's language,
mm-hmm.
I think that has so much to do with it. They don't know where you're from. Most of them don't know where you're from.
Really?
They'll ask you where are you from.
Nice, but they know you're not from there.
They'll guess, like, and I'll say in Turkish, they'll guess, and they'll be like Russian, German,
sure,
like even Norwegian or whatever. But they don't know where you're from, and so in a way, you don't have to worry about what tag or label are they applying to me, because you're able to look at them from behind the guise, as it were.
Sure.
They don't know.
You're undetermined as well.
You're undetermined, and you can play whatever part you want to,
nice.
As far as what nationality you're from. That's the advantage of going in and learning the language.
I see.
If I were to live abroad but not attempt to learn the native language,
mm-hmm.
I think the fact that I'm American would come through a lot faster. Like I still don't think I necessarily speak like most Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've had Americans ask me if I'm British.
Really? I guess congratulations.
Right, I don't know.
Just watch out for the weight. I've heard they get real big.
Yeah. Who would have said that? But no, the typical brash, like Southern cowboy laden, gun toting,
sure,
Seahawks lambasting,
right? Our president,
Cowboys boosting, American,
Mr. Bush, all right.
Mr. Bush, they do speak in a certain way,
mm-hmm.
with certain intonation, certain mm-hmm. brashness, even if it's Boston or Texas,
sure,
there's a certain like rough hue.
I was known as the loud, pompous American.
Yeah.
I went to a British school, so the Brits were like, "Oh man, you American people," and there was something to it. I think that I simultaneously shed a lot of my what I viewed as Americanness as a kid, and then in essence adopted a lot of very seemingly naturally to me American features: brash, arrogant, self-righteous. I was young, so of course I have that to fortunately lean on.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I was an embodiment of that. I was the kid who was like, "Let's get things done." I was invincible. You know, and I think we parade around the earth with, we Americans parade around the earth with this in mind. And of course, we share our knowledge of one another in the form of news and media. So there are what we call facts, but really because everything's reported, you can tell a lot about the culture that's reporting news based on what news you're missing and what you've got.
Yeah.
Point is, these tags and labels are all essentially a result of what we present others of us, and so this is why I think it's an interesting interplay, because right now America is known as Mr. Bush. He is our guy, and it's unfortunate, and it's great that you didn't have to live that down too much. It sounds, because you were kind of, one shoe was American, one shoe was Turkish.
And even when I did explain my American background, sometimes I wouldn't even mention that I was half Turkish. So just I would try to speak Turkish, but I would say I'm American, and they would be like, you know, Bush, Shaitan. You know, and
that means Satan.
Satan, and I would agree.
And then we were linked forever. Yes.
Right. I mean, he is the figurehead.
Yeah.
But 90% of intelligent people, no matter what country they're from, realize the government is not the people.
Yes.
You can disagree with the government, but you can still realize the inherent goodness of the people.
Hopefully.
And most Turks realize Americans were good people, or had a good experience with Americans.
Good.
And it was just this unfortunate
figurehead.
An unfortunate cadre
of figures, at least,
of bobbling boobs.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Well,
but I do want to bring up a couple of things,
yes.
and that is when you talk about adopting American traits.
Let me just check one sec. Yeah, we're going. I want to make sure to capture it.
I befriended a Turkish fellow over there. He's a teenager. He's a fellow basketball fan.
Awesome.
And we went to a few Turkish basketball games together. And he knew a lot about Turkish basketball and EuroLeague, and also NBA.
Awesome.
But he had gone to high school in an American school in London.
Okay.
So I noticed that he had adopted certain ways of speaking that were, hey.
Have a good evening.
Yep.
Adios.
Hey, little doggy.
QTs.
Yeah, I mean, he had adopted like certain accents that were like affected American.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, like if you were watching a basketball game, he would say something like oh you go, or like
something very colloquial.
Right. Yeah, very colloquial.
Yeah,
like, that's right. Or,
oh, you go.
Oh, that boy was it wasn't like, ooh, that boy was sweet. It was like he would say, oh, that boy, that was nice. Or that boy
like
was
a mix
nice.
of things.
Like he would say boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy, but he wouldn't go all full Monty with it.
Sure, right,
full
right.
Monty, because I don't think he had that much exposure.
Sure, that's interesting.
But he was very intelligent, and he'd been around enough Americans and probably watched enough American movies and NBA basketball to know, like, get a lot of it.
And because it was kind of a hybrid of phrases, you know, he got one part right, or not right, but very American, the other part not so much. It means that he's probably not affecting it so much as absorbing it.
That's right.
He's using it.
He did not. He wasn't affecting it. It would sound affected.
Yes.
To a Native American or maybe even Native Turk.
Right. But it was also
it's a pastiche or an absorption of
different. I think it's cool.
It is cool.
I think it's cool. I know that at our school we spoke a number. I felt kind of weird here when I got here because my language was kind of thrown off. We spoke a mix of all kinds of languages. Do I speak any language other than English? Not really. I used to be decent on Spanish, and I need to bone up. But never really nailed the Russian down. I was, like I said, self-righteous. I have things to do that don't involve school.
Okay.
And
as far as the learning of the Spanish and having to bone up, I would just recommend to you, don't always put it off to the marrow.
Don't always put it off till
the marrow.
The marrow.
Yeah.
Like the inside?
I mean, yeah. I mean, just
the core?
Just, if you're gonna bone up, you want to do it.
Gotcha.
Almost immediately.
Awesome.
If
awesome.
It can be.
Gotcha. You're right. I need to, because otherwise it'll leach. Who needs that?
Flesh that thing out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's keep it as it is.